Howdy, and welcome to my first official, how-to video on this YouTube channel, where I walk you through how to do any and all things story, including writing advice, which is what I will be starting with here today. I've been writing novels and screenplays alike for about 6 consecutive years, so I'd like to think that I know a thing or two about crafting a compelling narrative. We all know TV shows with really boring characters that it constantly cuts back to, and we're just like, I don't care at all. Same with books, we'll be reading this really masterful chapter with this one character that we just adore, and then we'll just get a chapter with this black character, and we're like, oh my gosh, kill me. This video is to show you how to avoid that phenomenon, known as the boring character. Typically, the reason we can't connect with these characters on any level is because they're typically underwritten, or they're just really annoying characters. But we're going to focus on the underwritten aspect, and how you can really flesh out characters that you don't think are otherwise speaking to people. With that said, I guess let's just jump right into it. Here are 4 ways to write a compelling character. How to write a compelling character number 1. Moral ambiguity. Human beings are not perfect. I know, shocking. A lot of times in fiction we'll see this amazing character who just somehow knows how to do everything imaginable. You can call them a Mary Sue, a Gary Sue. Those are typically their names. They're typically very athletic and fit while also being a jack of all trades. So it's just kind of a really frustrating combination, because none of us are of that caliber. So how is this person, Number 1, it's unrealistic. Number 2, it is annoying. But it doesn't just apply to the action hero archetype, because sometimes that can be tongue-in-cheek and for fun. But typically, boring characters are just nice people. There's nothing else redeeming about them. They're just described as a nice person, and not much else. No real negative characteristics. Now here's why negative characteristics can be a good thing when writing characters. In real life, people swear. They cheat, they lie, they steal. We're assholes. We can be. We have the capacity for major assholeism. We can be not so good or redeeming, lazy, unmotivated, dysfunctional, inconsistent, with character. It's one thing to write a good person, but to write somebody that is nothing but good is a stretch, and it alienates us from that character and makes them harder to bond with. And if we can't bond with somebody, we just don't naturally care about them. This is true for characters and also people in real life, If somebody is too detached from us, we kind of shell up. We like to see characters that are us, not characters that we can never be. Even in real life, the flawed good is much more interesting than the flawless good. How to write a compelling character number 2, moral integrity. Now I know what you're thinking, Ryan, you just told us to make them morally ambiguous. What are you doing here? You can't be morally upright while also being morally ambiguous, can you? Of course you can. Because there are different schools of thought when it comes to morality. Morality is very subjective. Not everybody's morality is the same. Case in point, Chief Brody and Darth Vader. Chief Brody's idea of morality was sailing out into the depths of the ocean with Quentin Hooper and taking down a man-eating shark. Even though it's established that Chief Brody has a crippling fear of the water, he does it because it's the right thing to do. Seeing characters conquer their fears in order to do what's right is really inspirational to us, because it shows that moral uprightness within them, right? They're not a perfect action hero, as mentioned before, going for it and, jumping over explosions and volcanoes. Chief Brody is fearful of the ocean. So when he goes, despite his fears, to take down the shark, we're like, fuck yeah, Brody, he's kick-ass. In the end, when he blows up the shark, we're like, that could be me, right? Everyday humans have fears like that. Bravery is not the absence of fear. Bravery is the perseverance despite fear, especially in the name of good. Now let's take a villain, like Darth Vader, for example. So Darth Vader's ideal of righteousness, as opposed to Chief Brody's, was commanding the galaxy with an iron fist, in order to bring, of course,
peace, freedom, justice, and security to my new empire.
Still love that line delivery after all this time. Lucas. Ruling the galaxy with an iron fist, murdering the entire Jedi Temple, including children, of course, and starting a new war that spans 2 decades and leads to the deaths of millions. Does he sound like the type of guy we'd want to have a drink with? No. Unless you're a sociopath, which you very well may be. And hey, I accept all lifestyles here on this channel. Phoenix Fire does not discriminate against murdering sociopaths. Am I canceled yet? No, no one would have a drink with Darth Vader. However, we understand that he is ironclad in his goal. Darth Vader has no reservations when it comes to preserving his idea of what's right for the galaxy. Is it good? No, but he is a tough character. He's tough, and which makes him imposing, because he's just, you cannot sway him, right? If he's coming at you, you cannot appeal, right? He will cut you down because he believes in what he's doing, which is frightening, but also very respectable. Besides, villains who do things that they truly believe in are closer to real life villains. Take the Nazi Party, for example. There's a parallel between the Galactic Empire and the Nazi Party for a reason. This was intentional on the part of George Lucas. He drew inspiration from the big bads of World War II to make a point. Their goals of worldly conquest were very similar because they believed that they were the one supreme power. Rarely is anyone evil in their own story. I say rarely because there are some exceptions, but typically we all think that we're the good guys of our own story. You know, each of us is committing acts in accordance to our moral code, whether or not that's loose. Everybody has one. The tragedy of Darth Vader, but also the thing that makes him morally upright in his own definition of it, is that he feels he truly is superior to those in opposition of him, despite the fact that the entire time he is a pawn of Darth Sidious. Even Anton Chigurh, No Country for Old Men, a murdering psychopath, has a code. I mean, he gives Carla Jean a fair shot to escape death by offering her the flip of the coin. And in the novel, actually, she completely refuses, and Anton kills her. But in the movie, which I think was a very good choice on the part of the Coen brothers, Anton Chigurh actually gives Carla Jean a chance to flip the coin, and Carla Jean takes it. And it's implied that she made the wrong choice. It's also implied that Anton kills her. But the fact that he was willing to give her a shot to live shows you that that villain is not all about chaotic evil. That villain is very much lawful evil. Anton Chigurh genuinely believes that he is an angel of vengeance, the bringer of fate, until he's T-boned, and then he realizes, I'm susceptible to it myself, you know? Even fate can't escape fate, which is what I think Cormac McCarthy was going for there. So I could go on about No Country for Old Men for hours. I love that film. How to write a compelling character, number 3, my personal favorite, the redemption arc. Oh yeah, the age-old writer's trick that I've used time and time again in my stories, the redemption arc. So in the primitive times of, I'm about to get philosophical on y'all. In the primitive times of ancient humanity, we would spend hours hunting with our bare hands, in the heat, sweating. It's tiring, we're walking for hours, we don't return until days later, we drink out of ravines on the way. I mean, it was rough. Downtrodden and hungry, though, would we return empty-handed? No. We'd keep trucking along, because eventually we would find that game, slay it, and return to the camp hailed as heroes. Honorary badasses. The overcoming of obstacles and prejudices is so awesome to us humans. That's what we live and breathe. Have you ever noticed that a lot of people in modern times create their own issues so that they will constantly have something to overcome and battle? It's because I don't think peace is within our language. We are naturally inclined to rise above something. We are naturally inclined toward the underdog story. We are problem solvers. It's how we are by nature. It's how we came so far. I mean, this house was built by somebody who's a problem solver, and his father and his father and his father before that built everything else you see. We are problem solvers by nature. And thus, we love a good comeuppance. We love being able to finally do something, finally build something that wasn't previously there, right? Finally overcome something. In any redemption arc, you start with a character in a negative light. And typically they'd be struggling with their honest and moral qualities. And by the end, they've adopted these qualities for the better, have fleshed them out, and have become good. Their negatives are mainly resolved, if not completely resolved. We as humans know how hard it is to correct negative behavior. I mean, that's a huge part of humanity, right? Eating right, going to the gym, waking up on time, eating things that are good for us. We know the struggle of everyday human life. This is why we cheer and love when characters are finally able to do that. Characters like Anakin Skywalker, as we were just talking about, Jean Valjean, Bruce Wayne, Peter Parker, especially Bruce Wayne. There's a huge community behind Bruce Wayne. I'm going to get to that in a second. We have all fallen into metaphorical pits that we've had to climb out of. Bruce Wayne being a prime example of that, right? Why does Dark Knight Rises call to so many men like me and other men, despite the fact that it's arguably the worst of the Dark Knight trilogy? It's because the metaphorical image of Bruce Wayne climbing out of that pit and becoming Batman again fucking kicks ass. It makes us that more inclined to just battle our demons, go to the gym, fucking crank out reps, It's power. Overcoming adversity is power. It's beast. Redemption arcs from a man going from a sad, burdened laze to a badass warrior, just like cranking it out and being awesome and honorable and kicking ass and being a superhero. That's beast. That is beast to men and women alike. That is a universal message of adversity beating. That's why we love characters that kick ass and pull themselves out of ruts. It's because that's us. That's the spirit of humanity. That's why dudes pump iron to the fucking epic Star Wars soundtracks and the Dark Knight Rises, Hans Zimmer playlists, right? It's because that music fuels us, baby, because there's more to that music. There's a story behind that music. We're a Jedi in the temple training for the Clone Wars. We're Bruce Wayne fucking gearing up to fight Bane, dude. Just guys and girls just trying to badass our way to glory, you know, overcome it all. Some food for thought. And the fourth and final way to create a compelling character, nuance. Nuance is subtlety. And subtlety is gold in storytelling. Let me explain, because you're gonna agree with me. What's more powerful than a character screaming, "No!" at bad news? What's more powerful than that? Well, number one, anything. Number two, it's very hands-on. Instead, what a very powerful image would be a somber stare to the side, tears welling in their eyes, you know, things like that. It stabs us because they want to cry, but they won't allow themselves to, which is very true for many humans. That internal struggle of trying to be tough at the expense of our own emotions, which creates a lot of robots who lack empathy, right? Or maybe instead of, you know, looking to the side, maybe they go into another room and then have a breakdown there because they don't want to cry in front of people. You know, each of these things could really deepen your character instead of having them go, "No," which is the universal cheesy Hollywood trope. You know, you could have your character react to awful news in accordance to how they specifically would react to that event, and you'd be deepening them for the audience. What's more powerful than a character screaming, "I'm gonna fucking kill you," right? How about, you know, a character leaning into another one and saying, "Hey, if you don't stop what you're doing, I will fucking kill you." What's more powerful, right? I'm gonna kill you, you motherfucker, you killed my family. Or, I will kill you. And I know you know that I will. So leave right now. What's more powerful, you know what I mean? It also depends on the age range. Like if your character is 13, 14, 15 and they're more prone to emotionality, you might throw in a scene where, you know, the character is screaming, "I'm gonna kill you," you know. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, for example, Harry's outburst towards Snape at the end there. If the character is older and wiser, you could have them, you know, say it quieter. I guess it does depend on age there, but typically it's it's a better choice storytelling wise, and you know, for the emotionality of the scene wise, to just have your character be quieter. You know, always experiment with that before the obvious choice of screaming and being overtly theatrical in their emotions. Another example of nuance, maybe you write a villain. In the entire story, they're established as the villain, right? But maybe in a scene, they rescue the main protagonist's child in a moment of, I don't know, goodness. And, you know, it recontextualizes them. It's like, okay, wait. So everything that they've been doing, they're not an evil bastard. I mean, they must have a cause. You know what I mean? Because he saved a child, meaning he's not all bad. And then it gets you wondering, okay, well, what happened to him? This obviously this guy who has the potential to save children. What happened to this guy who seems good on the inside to just become such a wreck? Right? So we start to naturally ask questions, which makes him more interesting to us, even if you didn't give us any fuel to question his history. We just naturally do. It becomes interesting to us, just naturally. As Voltaire said, the secret to being a bore is to tell everything. I take this to heart and I use it every time I write a story. And I'm writing a lot. What is unsaid makes us wonder. We're nosy by nature. We are a nosy species. So use this to your advantage when creating a character. Build intrigue. Your audience will fall in love and want to know a lot more. Promise. Thank you for watching, folks. Successful, I'd say. First video here. Typically, I would say that if you want to watch more, you can look in the description or something. But seeing as I don't have any other content besides this video, look out for new stuff in the future. Follow my main channel. Link in the description. Absolutely. That's more self-help stuff and self-betterment stuff. That doesn't really have to do with storytelling, but it does have to do with, you know, staying consistent with your writing, staying consistent in general. I do believe that if you are going to choose a career in which consistent hard work is going to be a thing, you should better the human spirit. That's what my original channel is all about. Also, there's some BTS stuff on there occasionally, so that's always fun. You guys are the best, and I hope this helped you. More to come, so keep a lookout. Ta-ta, you beautiful people.